Oh, well, this video is to talk about suicide. A lot of discussion has come about on YouTube and Facebook concerning just different ways to address suicide. And one of the things that I'm hoping this video can address is the societal components and how we can change a lot of the dialogue about suicide from a more personal issue to one where we're actually engaging in this topic on a societal level. So I'm going to talk about 6 things that often we don't address in all this conversation. So, number one, we talk a lot about asking people to reach out for mental health support services, but oftentimes we are seeing cuts to the budget all across the nation. Rural environments may be losing out on a lot of mental health services. Urban environments are just swamped with the demand. And oftentimes people may be struggling to find anything in their area that suits their mental health needs and their life experiences. So, one of the first things we can do is talk to our politicians about basically increasing the budget for these programs, especially sliding scale programs, which I'll talk about a little later, because at the end of the day, social welfare is a huge part of just how we maintain our environment, our society, and hopefully it can help a lot of people in their everyday lives and also saving lives. Number two, we often talk about students, um, young individuals who honestly always seem to be smiling. Actually, that also came up with some of the discussions about celebrities. And part of it is that we are trained from an early age to smile, to make people happy. And for many people, it can be a struggle. They're told, well, there's the silver lining, so don't worry. Things will get better, things will get better. And that's great and all. But sometimes it's also important to recognize that when people are struggling and they're having a hard time, listen to them. Actually, let them be heard and recognize the influence we have in these conversations. Let the people know that you are someone who can be talked to and be that person. Go out of your way, talk to them about these things, check in with people. And that actually goes into number three. With number three, we see a lot of people get better. They just seem to be much more happy. Or much happier. And part of it is that it can be a time of, well, things are getting better, but then something happens, something in the environment, and that can be all that takes. And more importantly, it's like you think things are getting better, and then something just hits right there, and it just spirals down again. And so, one of the things we can do is check in with people. Don't just assume that, well, they have a smile, they're doing better, so everything's great. It might be that they just don't want to talk about it. It might be that they're in a vulnerable state. It might be that they're just hoping and something just happens. So just make sure that you're still conversing with the individuals. And actually, number four is something that we don't talk a lot about, and that's minority history with the health community and the mental health community. So if you look throughout American history, we have cases of the mental health services being used to basically isolate and take away people's rights. Oftentimes they used diagnoses to say, well, now I'm going to just put you away. And so that leaves a bad stain for many people. It's a trauma that continues into the community now. So, some things is, as a society, encouraging people from different racial, ethnic backgrounds and different minority groups in general to maybe get involved in the mental health or the health communities. Also, we can talk to mental health communities, talk to them about using resources that are more inclusive, having resources that depict many different people, not just white individuals. And in addition, we can be allies within the mental health and the health community by asking, hey, are you aware of counselors who are really good about this? Are you aware of this counselor? Because some counselors may not have cultural competency, so you can be kind of a bridge and be accepting that sometimes it'll be a struggle and respect where the people are coming from. Number 5, we really need to talk about poverty, because for many people, poverty is an everyday experience. It's stress. It's stress on your mind. It's instability. You don't know what the next day will have. So as a society, we need to address our high poverty rates. We need to increase, well, resources related to education equity, as well as economic empowerment. So programs that help people build skills, programs that unite people with resources. And honestly, until we do that, we're gonna see a lot of people who are in very bad states of mind, because your mental health is related to the stress of your environment. And so this is something we have to talk to our politicians about, encourage networking, and also, if possible, just make sure we're also dispersing information to others in our community. And then last is number 6. What we can do is recognize that empathy is not just about saying some nice things. Empathy is about connecting to people and recognizing that your experiences may not be the same as theirs, but there are emotional connections. And it's important to recognize where we don't know those experiences and to respect what the person is saying. One thing is with empathy, it's not about painting this silver lining. And it's also not about saying, well, you're so great, you're so this. It's about hearing the person out and not thinking you know what's best for them, but being there with them. And it can be hard, but if you are going to talk about resources, one thing you can do is talk to them from a standpoint of, would you like to hear about some strategies or resources? Would this be of interest? But don't let that be the focus of the conversation. And more importantly, make sure that you're not thinking they need these resources. I'm just going to give it to them. Hear them out. Let them be the judge of things. And throughout this whole conversation, always remember that it can be a struggle, so take self-care to the max. Make sure you have support networks. Make sure you're doing things that rejuvenate you. And also, if possible, maybe take some time to recognize, well, the person is having some times of struggle, but this isn't the whole person. Recognize that it can be a strain on the relationship sometimes. So remember what you value about the person. Remember to respect where they're coming from. And remember what you enjoy. What is the relationship bringing to you as well? And remember that connection that you and the person have. And I hope that throughout this video, you've gained some knowledge, and I hope that you can also leave some knowledge behind. So feel free to just talk about whatever you want to in the comments and start a dialogue up. Thank you very much for your time.